Good morning, Big 12 Nation. Another week. Let's go over last week's. So TCU and Baylor was a very competitive rivalry game as we thought it would be. But the one that got me was Arizona State. I had no idea Sam Levitt was going to be probable, and that was the difference in the game. That fourth down play uh, really what took it from Texas Tech. Had defense been able to execute and stop them on that fourth down, and it almost reminds me of last year. Y'all remember last year versus Texas? Arizona State executes that blitz. Arizona State's in the next round of the playoff for the college football playoff. We got a Big 12 team advancing the quote unquote weakest Power 5 team, as a lot of people like to say, but whatever. So that caught me. And then the BYU game, Bachmeyer, I hope I'm saying his name right, the QB from BYU, that scramble and that touchdown going up 24-14, I believe it was like 4 some minutes left. That was the difference in the game. So the games that were, you know, number one, or for number one, I should say, it really came down to one play. And that's what's crazy about this conference. It can come down to one play. Every game can literally come down to one play. Uh, Other than that, I think most of the teams won. Houston Bowl eligible, big for that program. Arizona needs to find a way to get bowl eligible, but still much better than last year. And then obviously Kansas State, Colorado, and Iowa State all had byes last week. But that was like, wow, what a difference Arizona State is. QB, y'all see what Coach Prime's going through at Colorado. Having a QB means everything because who touches the ball majority of the game? Defense is running to the ball, receivers are waiting for the ball. The person who controls the ball most of the game is the QB. So if you got a QB, man, college or pro, you can win. But BYU won a game that nobody thought they would win. They were not favored to win that game, and then Arizona State was not favored to win their game, and they won. Big 12, man. That's all I can say. Let's go over the odds. Let's go over the odds. Let's go over the odds. So, Kansas State at Kansas. Y'all know another rivalry game. Man, we got a lot of rivalry games in the Big 12. Sheesh. So, they are favoring KU by 3.5. Makes sense. KU's at home. Kansas State is kind of having an up and down season, but they play hard sometimes out of nowhere, but they're hard to beat at home. BYU at Iowa State. Wow. Iowa State is favored by 2.5. Iowa State needs this. Iowa State needs this to finish, on the top of the Big 12. They need to finish 10-2. Now, if BYU wins this game on the road, BYU should have a clear path to the Big 12 championship and in the college football playoff. This is going to be a good one. Oklahoma State at Texas Tech. Texas Tech's pretty pissed off. Lost that game. Should have won it. Down. Came back within 2 minutes. One big play hurt them, and they lost that game. But I'm pretty sure Texas Tech will have a nice lead at halftime. Oklahoma State did show some fight last week versus Cincinnati, though. Baylor at Cincinnati. By the way, I didn't say the odds. Texas Tech is favored by almost 40, 38.5. So, Baylor at Cincinnati. Cincinnati is a 5.5 point favorite. It doesn't get any easier for the Baylor Bears. I tell you what, though, if they can beat Cincinnati, who is hot right now and in the top 25, looks like Scott Satterfield's finally got their program rolling. Baylor could use a win, but Cincinnati is very hard to beat at home at Nippert Stadium. So that'll be a good one. TCU at West Virginia. West Virginia is not favored. TCU is favored by 15.5 on the road. Even though West Virginia does play tough at home, they're struggling this year. Their work quarterback, I said. Coach Rich Rodriguez will get the ball rolling there in Morgantown. Once he gets a quarterback that he's familiar with, he can develop, he can run a system, he can trust, etc., etc. But TCU, yeah, they're favored by 5.5. Total is 57.5 on that game. We got Houston at Arizona State. Arizona State should be able to win this, but don't sleep on Houston. Houston is bowl eligible. That is big for Willie Fritz in his second year. Arizona State 5-2, trying to finish 10-2. If they can finish out winning the Big 12, that will be huge for them, and I mean really huge. It could be them and BYU again in the Big 12 championship game, just like last year when Arizona State stormed the field versus BYU. That was pretty much the Big 12 title right there. So, and then we got Colorado at Utah as the night game, late night game. Utah is favored by 15.5. I think that's kind of high. Being Colorado does play pretty good, they just find a way to lose in the long run. But I think 15.5 is kind of high. I'd go 10 points, maybe 8. I mean, maybe. Don't trust me. Don't bet on it. And say I picked plus or well, I mean, I don't know if it's 16 points. Could you be mad if you lose that bet? I'd take that bet. I'd take that bet. So let's go over the TV schedule. TNT, like I said before, on HBO Max, TBS, TNT, there's always a game every week. That's the Kansas State game. BYU, Iowa State is a 2 o'clock game, 2 o'clock Central. That is on Fox. ESPN, not the regular ESPN, ESPNU is Oklahoma State at Texas Tech. That's at 3 o'clock Central. Baylor at Cincinnati on ESPN2. That's 3 o'clock Central. TCU versus West Virginia at West Virginia. That's an ESPN Plus 5 o'clock Central game. So 4 o'clock Mountain Time. That should be no. 4 o'clock Eastern Time. That should be 2 o'clock Mountain Time. So if it's Mountain Time, let me see. 5 Central. Well, yeah, 5. Yeah, I said it right. 5 Central will be 4 Mountain Time, so that's 6 p.m. Eastern Time. That's late. That's a later game. All right. Houston at Arizona State, ESPN2, 7 p.m. Central. So I'm guessing that's at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And then Colorado versus Utah, which is why they do these late games with Colorado and Utah sometimes, because it's 8 o'clock Mountain Time. It's only 8 o'clock their time. It's 10 o'clock Eastern Time, and then it's 9 o'clock Central Time. So if you're a UCF fan, you have off this week. If you want to be up late night watching Big 12 games, have at it. Check out Colorado versus Utah. But who else has a bye week? Speaking of UCF, UCF is not playing. Who else? Cincinnati's playing. West Virginia's playing. Houston's playing. TCU and Baylor are playing. Who am I missing, guys? K-State is playing. BYU is playing. It looks like Arizona. Looks like Arizona, guys. Looks like Arizona and UCF have the bye weeks this week. Everybody else looks like they're playing. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So if there's 7 games, there's 14 games. There's 14 teams playing. So there's only 2 teams with bye weeks. Unlike last week, there were 4 teams with a bye week. Big 12 Nation. Make sure you go to Big12Nation.com. Let's make this thing big, man. There's plenty of fans, great fan bases in the Big 12. No reason for this not to be just as big as any of the other networks or other conferences. Y'all enjoy this week. Big 12 is unpredictable. Peace.